Welcome to Zen in 10. This is Jessica with Balancia Wellness and Fletcher because it is a very special day. So for this Zen in 10, we are going to be all things dog focused because it is Fletcher's birthday. So help me celebrate with him. We're going to focus on downward facing dog, we're going to focus on up dog, and we're going to focus on what I'm going to call today the Splooty Booty, but frog. So we're going to open our hips up into frog pose, which looks exactly like this little guy's Splooty Booty pose. So let's get started. All right. If we're lucky, he'll show us his downward facing dog because it's honestly quite perfect. Let's get started. We're going to join together on our mats in our tabletop position first, setting up for our first downward facing dog. Are you gonna come join? Come on. And we're gonna tuck our toes, right? And we're gonna push our hips back. Here we go. Thank you. Into your first downward facing dog. Can you show them how to do it? Oh, I'm gonna get so many kisses. Okay, and then we're just gonna pedal out our feet, walking our dog. And to be careful not to say that W word. We should say W-A-L-K, our dog, right? Because we're not ready to go outside for a W-A-L-K just yet on your birthday. I lost my hat. We'll put it over there. And really warming up those hamstrings, warming up those ankles, those feet. Oh, just finding some time here in stillness and breathing for a round of breath. Begin to lean forward here into that high plank, gently dropping those knees to your mat, untucking those toes, leaning that pelvis forward onto your mat into your upward facing dog. Go ahead and lift the chin to the sky, arching that lower back. And slowly lowering down to your mat. Okay, we're going to do that again to really focus on that downward facing dog and that up dog. So we're going to tuck our toes, driving our upper body up first into our upward facing dog, pushing everything back into those back hips, downward facing dog. Start to kind of walk those feet up, really creating that V shape in the body. Oh, he kind of did it. I don't know if I was blocking him or if you would be able to see that. Now you can place those heels on the mat if your flexibility allows you to at this point in time. Otherwise, you might be more up on your toes. Everyone's bodies are different, so it's going to look a little bit different for everyone, depending on where you are. Breathing here. And then we're gonna march forward. Here's a dog outside. And we're gonna take a step back to be in that high plank, dropping those knees gently, untucking the toes, and lifting that chest up to the sky, upward facing dog. Gently lower down here to your mats. You can set up a pillow for your head with your hands here. We're going to begin to settle into that frog, aka Splooty Booty, right? Are you going to show them how to do it? Can you show them? So let's start with half Splooty Booty, all right, half frog. We're just going to take one of our legs out to the sides at 90 degrees. So your knee is bent at 90 degrees here. There's also that 90-degree bend from your thigh up to your lower abdomen or your torso here. You're gonna flex your foot and you're just gonna open up that hip. So if your hips are really tight, half frog, half Splooty Booty, right, can be very challenging. So we're gonna hold here for a minute to a minute and a half. So let's just settle into our breath. Again, you can create a little pillow for your head with your hands here. And just breathe it in Noticing if you're holding any tension at that space in your hip. I'm just going to adjust here so I'm lower into the mat and the floor a little bit more. I'm melting in further. You're smelling me. Hi. You can lay down. Can you do it too? We're just gonna breathe here for some more rounds of breath. Really untensing any areas in your lower body. So if you notice that you're holding any tension, if you're forcing yourself up, allowing yourself to melt deeper and deeper into your mat. Move my hat. Right, what do you want for your birthday? You probably want some jerky for your birthday? Are you gonna do any of this yoga with us? Staying here for a little longer, noticing how more space begins to open up in that hip. For me, I'm settled in on my right side first. Just letting that continue to lengthen, continuing to release any of that muscle tension. And gently close your eyes here. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw, you can unhinge the jaw. Go ahead and begin wiggling those toes on that foot that's in half frog, half splooty booty. Start to send that leg out long. And we're going to go through a round of that downward facing dog into up dog before opening up the hip on the left side or the opposite side if you already did your left. So we're going to go ahead and plant our hands, plant those toes, and drive our hips back into downward facing dog. Noticing how this downward dog maybe feels a little bit more flexible. Maybe there's a little bit more room in those hamstrings. Maybe we can walk forward a little bit more, creating a more defined V shape. If down dog is not available to you, another great option here on Fletch's birthday is puppy dog. You could actually drop down to your knees and arch that upper back, dropping that forehead to your mats, sending those hands out long. So whether you're there in puppy dog or in downward facing dog, let's all slowly begin to transition into upward facing dog. Slowly dropping our upper body down to our mat, creating that pillow again for our head and our hands. I'm going to be turning my head to the left side and opening up my hip on the left side. So we're doing half frog again here, half splooty booty, right? You're hiding from the camera. Fletch is very camera shy. Sending that opposite side out at that 90-degree angle at both your knee here, but also where your hip actually meets your torso. So it's very sharp angles, and you're going to flex that foot. Remembering how on the opposite side, you started off probably with a lot of tension, holding on to those muscle groups in the leg and in the hip. And as we continue to hold in this pose and we continue to breathe, everything was able to soften and melt deeper into the mat. So just focusing on breath here and allowing everything to begin to melt deeper and deeper into the mat and into the floor. Stay here for another few rounds of breath. And slowly extend that leg back out long to meet the other. Go through one more round of our downward facing dog into up dog, and then we'll meet in a full frog or that full Splooty Booty. So we can set up into that. I'm gonna go into my tabletop, tuck those toes, drive those hips back, walk towards my hands a bit. Allowing myself to breathe into this inversion for a moment. Sending my feet back a little longer, high plank. Dropping those knees, untucking the toes. Upward facing dog. And slowly coming back down onto my mat. Now you have some options here, depending on your floor. If you're on hard floor or if you're outside on the hard ground, it can be nice to turn your body so that way you can extend your legs out wide on either side onto your mat still. You can tuck your mat over more if you need some more cushion, or if you have some cushioning, or like I am on my carpet, you might just be fine as is. This can be really great with a prop as well. I have a bolster over here that sometimes I like to use extended out wide to give myself some more space, because hips are usually very tight. It can be really difficult at first to melt into the floor, and you need different elevations until you can finally sink in a lot deeper. If you don't have any props, that's also okay. You can use a pillow at home, like your bed pillows, or you don't need one and you can just simply prop yourself up. So I'm going to show you without a prop, just in case you don't have anything. Let's do, you'll probably be able to notice or see what I'm doing better if I'm at a side. So set up however you need to, so that way you'll be comfortable and have support under both of your legs with your hips and your legs out wide. So I'm gonna just move this a little bit. I'm on carpet, so I really don't need to worry too much. And then I am going to come down first on my forearms here and start to open my hips up, kind of like you're doing the splits. Only again, you're in that frog or Splooty Booty position where your knees are at that 90-degree angles, my feet are still flexed, and I'm just starting to sink in and get comfortable in those hips. This is about as low as I can go before I start to feel a lot of that tension. And I don't want to move past the point of pain. I just want to be able to feel the stretch and dive into it deeper. So I can come out a little more forward here if I want to, and start to feel that release in those tendons, in those muscles, in that inner hip, inner thigh area. We're gonna stay here. Now you can stay here for a long time. You could stay here for 3 minutes. You could stay here for 5 minutes. This is a great yin pose. So you can stay here and really deepen those hips. Hips can hold a lot of emotional energy, especially in the fascia in that area. So as you release things, you might feel more deeper emotions, whether it's sadness or trauma, but it could also be happiness or the giggles. So different things can come up for you. Really just get curious with that and give yourself some grace and some love there if anything comes up. Or it just might be a challenge, especially if you're really tight. So if you're really, really tight in that area, allow yourself to have some time to really sink in and breathe. You can slowly come forward a little bit more. And just continue to bring those hips up as you can, so that way they extend more parallel, well, depending on where you are, but parallel to your mat. I'm gonna come up on my forearms because I'm not able to do it in correct form if I'm laying down all the way. And we'll breathe here for another few rounds of breath. And see, this is where a pillow or a blanket and a pillow, however much you need to stack, will also help, because then you can actually release the tension on that upper body instead of having to prop yourself up. And begin to come forward again onto your mat, gently sending both of those legs together and out long. I'm going to come up into upward facing dog here. Tuck my toes, driving my hips back, downward facing dog, ending our practice as we begin. Slowly dropping my knees, making my way into easy seat. Thank you so much for joining me today. Feel free to hold that round a little longer, rewind this, play it a few more times, really sinking in and finding that release in those hips, in those inner thighs. This has been so much fun, and thank you for celebrating. Can we say goodbye? Thank you for celebrating my homey little guy's birthday, and I wish you all a peaceful, wonderful day. Please like, subscribe, and share, and until next time, namaste.